Hello world, welcome to another episode of Making It with Chris G. Happy New Year everybody. Wish you guys an awesome, fantastic, successful year filled with joy, happiness, smiles, success, and doing the things you love most of the time, if not all the time. But of course, things don't always go our way. So I want to just wish you guys an awesome year, full of success, the strength and power to fight through all ups and downs and overcome all obstacles. This is our year, all right? We are making it in 2017. So welcome back to the podcast. Welcome to where we have conversations with people in the world of entertainment who are making it from behind the scenes to the spotlight, sharing their stories and insight to help you get one step closer to making it. I'm pumped. I hope you guys are excited. Really excited y'all are listening. We have our first round 2 this week, and this is with Greg Rollett from episode 1, the fellow pioneer of Making It with Chris G, the first guest, the man who has motivated me to get this podcast started. Super excited that we're 17 episodes in. This is awesome. It's been such a fun journey. I really appreciate everyone listening, everyone that's subscribing on iTunes. I really appreciate all the 5-star ratings and all the reviews. It really helps us get up on the rankings. I say it every week, and I really do appreciate it. It helps us bring in more and more guests. It gives me the ability to travel and to do more awesome interviews with guests. We have our New Orleans series kicking off next week. Had a great Christmas break in New Orleans. Have some really awesome guests lined up. It'll be a 5-week series for New Orleans. And yeah, we're kicking it off next week, Thursday. So podcast comes out every Thursday. Subscribe on iTunes. It's available on Stitcher, Podcast Addict, SoundCloud, everywhere podcasts live. And we're kicking off the year with a big one. With round 2 with Greg Rollett. We're talking marketing, trends, setting goals for the new year, creating content, and much, much more. This is a lot more of a free-flowing conversation since we already covered Greg's story and background in episode 1. I got a little bit of the rookie podcast rust off of me still, very early in my 10,000 hours of podcasting, but this is a really good episode. I'm really excited to bring you guys this episode, this round 2 with Greg. And what y'all think of last week? Did you get a chance to listen to the episode last week with Ari Herstand? What a fun episode that was. Man, he was going at 100 miles per hour, dropping valuable information nuggets one after another. I really love his philosophy on booking and creating a fan base, touring smart, playing shows smart. So much great insight and wisdom to share on how artists can make it in today's music industry, right? How to make a full-time living, how to build a real fan. And that was just, the bottom level, like just a little bit of tidbits of information. And he has so much more to give, so much more valuable information in his brand new book, How to Make It in the New Music Business. I got my copy for Christmas. It's right here in front of me. And let's take a quick look into this book, How to Make It in the New Music Business, right? He talks about the new music industry, how the record deals work, the 360 deals, how the release should be done properly and how to properly time a release, building a fan base, one fan at a time. So the whole concept of 1,000 true fans, right? The difference between the music business in LA, New York, and Nashville, because there are some real differences. Playing live, the purpose of performing live, the types of deals that are out there, how you should be getting paid, booking and promoting shows, touring, the tour manager, how to make real money playing colleges, sponsorships, investments, how to master the internet. I'm only 11 chapters in, and so much more. The new asking economy, the difference between asking and begging, how to get all the royalties you never knew existed, and other business things you need to know, how to get music placed on film and television. Outside of touring, that's where the big bucks are. That's where some real money is. Bump everyone else off the cover. There's so much great information in this book. I'm hoping to make this the official textbook of my class, Artist Development at Full Sail University, because this is how the new music business is really working. Artists are making a full-time living on many different ways on their own these days without the help of a record label. And this is such a great book. I'm so happy that Ari wrote this book and that he's sharing this information with the world, and that musicians and artists will finally have a new book, right? Since All You Need to Know About the Music Business from Donald Passman, because that was the book that basically taught you how to negotiate and things to look for in that $100,000, $200,000, $500,000 record deal, $1 million record deal. But how do you get there? How do you get that deal? And how do you create value for yourself as an artist? Because if you're an artist and you're bringing in good money on your own, you have the ability to walk away from a big deal like that if it's not the right terms for you. So, such a great book. Check out his book, How to Make It in the New Music Business. If you didn't have a chance to check that episode out yet, go back. It's episode 16 on the podcast with Ari Herstand. Lots of great information and value that he's giving and sharing with the world for free. Check out the episode. Check out his blog. Check out the book. Love it. Love what he's doing. So let's go on to round 2 with Greg Rollett. I won't do an intro on this one since you've already heard his intro on episode 1. So if you'd like to hear it again, you can check out his intro there. You can also find Greg Rollett on ambitious.com. In this episode, we're talking marketing, content creation, trends, goal setting, so much more. Lots of great information. Grab your pen and paper for this one, just like you did last week. You get ready to take lots of notes, learn lots of great information. And one big change from his journey since our first episode, he's now an Emmy Award-winning producer. So of the many other things he's already had on his title, his intro on episode 1 was massive. And now he's an Emmy Award winner. Super proud of Greg. Really excited. So well-deserved. He's been working really hard and grinding for a long time. He's still the super serial entrepreneur with many great ventures, ideas, full of wisdom, always giving back. So here we have it. Here's our round 2 really fun conversation with Greg Rollett. Enjoy, everyone. So we're back for round 2 with my boy Greg Rollett. What's up, man?
Round deuce.
Round deuce. We're back at it again.
Something happened to where we wanted to do this again. So
I know.
Hopefully the last one was good.
The last one was great. It got a lot of positive feedback and people are enjoying it, even though I was a nervous wreck.
Yeah, well, the cool thing I think doing this is round 2 is now you've had like 20 episodes of practice.
Yeah.
You know?
Almost 20.
Almost 20. Yeah. But like, so now you're like a seasoned podcasting vet. And so we're going so we're going to go in on this one.
I'm a little shy of my 10,000 hours of podcasting still, but I'm working on it.
Getting there.
So today I wanted to do something fun. So we're taping in December, but it's going to be going live as the first episode of the new year.
Okay.
So kind of we wanted to talk about trends from this year in marketing and what to look for in 2017, setting goals, and all kinds of fun stuff. But before we get to that, what's this? So the people that can't see it, but there's something really impressive standing in front of us. Tell me about that, because that's an awesome accomplishment to add to everything.
I'm legit now, right? So, 2 Saturdays ago, just recently, we won an Emmy Award for a documentary in the Suncoast region, and it's freaking awesome. I get to say that I'm an Emmy Award-winning producer now. It was an incredible film, great organization. We went down to the Dominican Republic down in January of this year, and we filmed a short documentary, about 30 minutes. On an organization called Esperanza. They do microloans for women-owned businesses. It was founded by a former Major League Baseball player who was playing winter ball down in the Dominican, and after a game, he thought these kids were asking for autographs, because as a baseball player, that makes sense, right? Mm-hmm. But they were really asking for food, and he, he's like, I'm playing pro ball, and these kids are asking for food right outside the stadium, and so he wanted to do something about it. And long story short, he ended up founding this organization that does microloans, so $100 loans, $200 loans. and they chose women-owned businesses. So what they found is that the women will, invest the money, grow the business, and then take the profits from the business and feed their family and like give shelter. Whereas us dudes would go buy like gold chains and like cell phones and like DVDs,
So gold chains we have.
Exactly. So so what they found is the women actually use the money to care for their family and develop the family and send them to school and education and all that. And so incredible organization, has been doing it for a very long time, and just really cool that we got, not only did we get to tell the story and impact a lot of people and now help the organization through the film, but selfishly now I get to call myself an Emmy Award-winning producer. So now all my footage has some credibility behind it. So no, man, I'm beyond excited. It's something that I was nominated 2 years ago and didn't get it for another nonprofit film that we did. So I'm excited to get
this is your
one.
second nomination.
This is my second nomination,
That's
first
cool.
win, and now I'm just trying to play catch up with my partner Nick, who's got 5 wins. So I'm on my way.
Got a competition going on in the office.
Exactly, but no, man, it's exciting. I mean, it's everything that you would want it to be. I mean, the great thing is if you do great work, you create great art. So I know a lot of musicians listen to this. Like if you do your thing and you put yourself in the right spot, you can do really, really cool stuff. And just talking about like credibility too is like, it's not that. So we make really good video stuff. We're filming a reality show right now. We do weekly television shows. We do all this great stuff. But to be recognized in this way, it gives you an aura of credibility. Like people see it as, oh, these guys are like, they're real filmmakers. They're not just guys with cameras. And so while I don't believe in the agency winning the award instead of taking care of the client, we always, we created a great documentary that's going to help this nonprofit. There's no doubt in my mind that they're going to be able to get more fundraising. They're going to be able to go out and get more donors. They're going to be able to do more stuff. We created a great product, but then we also got recognition for it. And when you get that credibility, so as a musician, getting that credibility of, so like for us, like I played Madison Square Garden. We use that everywhere we went. So like when you go to get like some podunk venue, they're like, oh, they're good enough for Madison Square Garden. They're good enough for me. We played Knitting Factory in LA. We played Social in Orlando, which is like a big deal in Orlando. But then that opened doors to Jackrabbits in Jacksonville. That opened doors to whatever the Gainesville venue was. That opened doors. So the more credibility that you can stack, the easier things become. Doesn't become easy. It becomes easier.
It becomes easier. Yeah, that's difficult. So how'd you get involved in that project?
Yeah. So through my
what was it that got you guys to work on this project with this? Was the baseball player involved in it, or?
He was, but it was actually my partner Nick is in church, and there is a pastor over there who goes down and does mission work and volunteer work for this organization. And Nick was saying like, "Hey, I'm looking for a new documentary to do this year. Do you know anyone?" Turned us on to this, and the sports connection along with the nonprofit connection like really hit us. I'm a huge baseball fan, playing baseball every day with my 4-year-old. Nick's a huge Florida Gator fan, big into sports, big into football. So the sports plus the poverty plus helping the world, like all that, we were like, yeah, we need to find a way to get this project done.
Very cool. I love it. And speaking of like doing film projects and documentaries and stuff, you have something else really exciting coming up that I think you're launching in January. What's the new project you're working on right now?
Well, it's not new to me. It'll be new to the world. So we have a brand new reality show so this is interesting. So we self-funded the entire thing. I think on the last episode, we talked a little bit about the Kickstarter and stuff like that. But so we self-funded the entire thing through Kickstarter. So the lesson there is don't let lack of resources and money be an excuse. If you can tell a good enough story, you can use and leverage a platform like Kickstarter to raise the money. If you want to go record an album, you don't have the money, put it on Kickstarter. You want to go and do the film, put it on, use a platform like that. There's no excuse for lack of resources today. I wanted to do this show, and so we put it on Kickstarter. We raised the money. We filmed 5 episodes, and February 2nd, we're having the premiere here in Orlando. In Winter Park, and then the episodes go live to the world on Apple TV on February the 3rd. So really excited. First season's done. We're already starting to work on the second season, which is absolutely insane that we even have a second season of a show. But we're doing the second season. So 5 episodes in the first season. We're hoping for 10 to 13 of the second season. And we decided to do self-distribution. We were working with major networks, things like that. But we want the control. And I think that's what's cool for filmmakers, for musicians, for artists, is that you can have the control. And the interesting thing is now we can go sell sponsorships. We can sell advertising. We can sell product placement. Like we can do it all however we want. And I think that's really, and we can create the show that we want. We get to edit it. We get all the control. And I think control is really, really important. Where we're going to miss out is on the audience. So we're going to work on buying an audience and building it naturally and organically.
Cool. Are you hoping to have enough success with the first season to where you can maybe get bigger distribution and I guess, give up some of the control for season 2, or what is the?
Yeah, so I think what we're hoping is that through the success of season 1, our goal, and you can hold me to this, is we want to get about 500,000 views per episode.
Okay.
That's not all together, that's per episode. So it's really 2.5 million views in the aggregate. That, from what we've been told with people who do a lot of sponsored content and branded content, that allows you to get a seat at the table to even talk to brands. About that. And I think an interesting distribution play, most people think of traditional channels. So like with music, you think iTunes, you think Spotify, you think Pandora, are there alternative channels. So like with video, you think TV or you think Netflix, but like there's Amazon's, there's Roku's, there's Apple TV like we're doing, but there's also branded content. So ours is a travel show. So could we get an American Express to buy the show and we get distribution through their channels? Would a Marriott buy the show? Would American Airlines buy the show? Would they license parts of the show? So I think we're looking for alternative distribution as opposed to mainstream distribution. Even some of the mobile carriers are starting their own, video networks and media networks. So we're looking at those as options. I think we're looking at, where's the audience, where's the eyeballs, and where's our biggest opportunity to, use this, because the show isn't the end game. The show is awareness for what we're doing so that people go, oh, wow, Greg and Brandon are doing cool stuff. What else does Greg do? Oh, he teaches people how to do this stuff. Oh, cool. Let me come to one of his events. Let me buy one of his courses. Let me hire him for coaching and consulting. Same thing with musicians. Your album shouldn't be the end game. The album should be the front door that gets people to say, oh, now I want to go to a show. Oh, I want a private concert. Oh, I want to buy all their gear. I want to buy all their merch. If the $10, you and I've had this conversation forever. Like if you're selling 99-cent downloads, and you want to make $100,000, you need to sell 100,000 freaking downloads. Right. That's a lot of damn downloads, But if you're selling a $10 single to a $10 album, and then you're selling a $30 shirt, and you're selling, $35 sweatpants, and you're selling a $30 concert ticket, well, now you get your average fan value up to $100. Well, now you only need 10,000 or 1,000. I can't do math, But where I'm going with it is, can you get that average ticket value up? And so for us, the reality show is, can we self-liquidate? Meaning, can we break even on the production of the show and the distribution of the show? So basically, we didn't pay any money to create the show, and then we use the show as leverage to build our real business.
Yeah. So since we're talking about artists and relating it to musicians, what could a musician do to create more value? I mean, at first you have to build your 1,000 true fans. So if you don't have 1,000 followers, if it's just literally just we talked about this last time a little bit, but literally just your friends and family that are following you, it's going to be really hard to make $100,000 on just that. But 1,000 true fans, the concept is trying to get 100 people that are willing to invest $100 a year into your career. Yeah. So what can an artist do to start building the steps to getting to 1,000 true fans and making $100,000 a year?
So
that's a loaded question.
It is a loaded question. So first, I think you need to do the math backwards. This is something I start with everyone, whether you're a business owner, musician, whatever it is. If you want to make $100,000, what products do you have available right now? And then how many of those current products do you need to sell to get to that $100,000? Right. So if the only thing you have right now is a CD and it's $10, you need to sell however many thousand CDs, 10,000 CDs. 10,000 CDs, and if that's the only product that you have, then that's what you do. Right. You're like, well, I got to. What do I need to do today to get me closer to selling 10,000 CDs? Right. Now, where smart business owners come into play, and smart entrepreneurs, musicians, artists, is they say, cool, I have a $10 CD. What if I also had a $20 T-shirt? Now I only need to sell 5,000 shirts, or can I sell 3,000 shirts and 7,000 CDs? Well, now that number starts to go down. You started to add ticket sales to that. You start to add production, songwriting fees. But then can you find the one outlier that might help you get there 10x faster? So what I mean by that, this is really funny. So I've been telling musicians to do this forever. No one listens to me, and you probably won't either as you listen to this. But I just had someone actually do it, which makes me so much more optimistic. They went to a advertising agency, and they say, hey, I know you do a lot of the commercials in the area. Who do you use for music? I have this track that would work great for this, and I have these 10 tracks, and here's how they would work for your clients. And they go, oh my God, these songs are awesome. How do we license them? And they go, oh, you can just pay me direct. And if you're paying $10,000 a song to license that, what if you just paid me $1,000 a song and I'll give you 100% of the rights? Right. And the advertising firm was like, they didn't understand at first because they're like, we have to go through and he's like, no, you can just go right through me. Right. And so this musician ended up selling 10 tracks at $1,000 a piece, got a $10,000 check in a week. Wow. So that 10x his advancement,
income, yeah.
right? But now can you go to another ad agency? Well, now those people don't just do one commercial for, they do 10 over the course of the year. So can you sell more to that? So can you find the outlier? So an ad agency is just one, but like who else could you be selling things to? Where else could you be playing? Can you suck it up? And this is the thing musicians don't want to hear. Go play a goddamn cover show,
right.
And get $1,000 for it.
Yeah.
Get $500 for it.
Right.
Well, great. Guess what? That's $500 is the same equivalent of selling 50 $10 CDs.
Right.
So what are some of the outliers that you can use to add to your product suite? Like for our business, so we'll do very well this year, but we have, about a dozen products that are, anywhere between $500 and $12,000. And if someone buys something for $500, great. Someone buys something for $8,000, great. Someone buys something it's way easier when you have different products. I think musicians and artists make the mistake of, I got one t-shirt and I got one CD. Why am I not making any money?
Right.
That's why.
Yeah. We also talk a lot about the importance of building an email list. And you said earlier when we're hanging out that 80% of your revenue comes from your email list. I guess we talked about this a little bit last time about really going around with a clipboard at a show and collecting emails. But is there a way to speed up that process and collect more emails in a faster way than just having to be physically at a show that only has
there's definitely
10
faster
to 20
ways.
people?
So I'll give you two,
Okay.
right? So one is Facebook ads. I think Facebook advertising is the number one most underutilized thing for creatives.
So is that as simple as just having a Facebook ad to sign up for my email list, or is creating some kind of other value to get them to come to your site?
I think it's creating other value.
Okay.
So let's say you sound like Rage Against the Machine. Well, you can run an ad to people who are 18 to 25 years old who also like Rage Against the Machine. Pretty good target market, right? And you could just do it in California,
Right.
So you can get pretty targeted. And the good news is if you sound like someone else, run ads to those fans. Now, in the ad, I'd say something like, if you love Rage Against the Machine, you'll love our brand new EP. This week only, we'll give you 3 songs for free. Click here. And so the other value is you're going to give them three songs for free. To me, I'm willing to give my music away to build that email list because now if they hear those 3 songs, they're on my email list. Well, now I can email them the next day and say, hey, Chris, you just downloaded those 3 songs. What'd you think? You create a dialogue.
Right.
If they reply back and they're like, oh my God, those songs were so dope. They were fresh. Like, we love them. I put it on my iPad. I showed them iPod, whatever, iPhone, showed them to all my friends. Well, then you reply, man, that's awesome. I know we gave you these 3 songs for free, but actually we're running this cool sale where you can get the whole album. We'll sign the album. We'll give you a poster and a t-shirt. And we'll give you that whole bundle for $25. Here's the link. Well, now you've created engaged fans. That engaged fan is going to be like, oh my God, that's awesome. And this band's reaching out to me. Well, now you've just created a revenue stream.
Right.
So here's the deal. You might have spent $1, to get that click for someone to opt in and get those 3 songs. But if you're making 25 and then you sell 1 out of 25 people, well, you just broke even, right? So it costs you $25 and you sell 1 and you're selling a $25 package, you just broke even, right? I know I'm simplifying things. There's product cost and shipping.
Right.
I got it. But I'm trying to, for sake of this. So I think
But you're also building a true fan out of that because the important thing I think you said in that is not only creating the upsell from that Facebook ad, but you're now also personally reaching out to that fan. So it's not just having an email to try to sell something. You're actually personally engaging them and trying to create conversation and dialogue, which I think is the real big thing because that's what's going to keep them coming back over and over.
Yeah,
again.
so at the start, you scale your fan base by interacting with your fans. You can't automate that. And I think this is true whether you're a multi-million-dollar entrepreneur or a business or a musician just starting out, is we want to be like, well, let's just automate it. Let's automate. Like, screw automation. You're in the people business. Like, you can send a tweet to someone personally and be like, yo, Chris, thanks for checking out my music. That changes people's lives. So just a real life example, someone listened to our episode of the first episode that we did this. And they tweeted out something like, I could listen to that at Greg Rollett guy all day. So I'm tooting my own horn as I'm saying this. But he said something like, Chris, thanks so much for the episode. I could listen to Greg. And so instead of having an auto response, or just saying hey, thanks, bro. I, took 7 seconds out of my day, opened up Twitter, hit reply, did a video. I'm like, yo, what up, John? This is Greg. Wanted to just say, thanks so much for checking out the episode. Let me know if there's anything I can do to help. And he freaked out. He's like, oh my God, I can't believe you did that. You freaked out. You're like, oh my God, I can't believe you did that. That's how you can't automate that.
No.
But that's how I create my own fans. And that's how a musician needs to create their fans, is by actually engaging. Because people want to be like, oh my God, I know the singer. Oh my God, I know the drummer. Oh my God, I know the bassist. Oh, whatever the deal is. They want that connection because we're all looking for this sense of belonging. We want to belong to something. And if you create that feeling, now they have social proof, social cred, social status. Now when they go to the show, they tell like 6 of their friends because they're like, yo, I know the bassist. He tweets to me or he emailed me back or whatever it is. Now all their friends are like, oh my God, now we're going to go to the show. And Chris knows somebody in the band. Like that's how you build this following is with real, true engagement. You can't pawn that off to a social media company for $200 a month. You can't automate that with auto replies. You shouldn't use are there times and places for autoresponders and things like that? Of course there are. But you can't replace real physical human interaction no matter what technology you use.
And for those that don't know really much about automation, I mean, it comes from way before Tim Ferriss, but I think one of the ways that you and I read about automating your business and learning about that was through the 4-hour work week. And one of the main principles in the 4-hour work week is the Pareto Principle, right? So 80-20. So 80% of your revenue comes from 20% of your work. And then by doing that, you get like all the wasted time off your plate and auto responding to certain emails and just time wasters. But I feel like in this scenario, and he talks about in the book where he automated his engagement with his customers. And in that type of business, when you're selling supplements, that's okay. But in a business where it's entertainment and your fans are your lifeline, you can't automate fans. You got to directly engage with your fans.
I agree, 100%.
The fans are your 80%, right?
Yeah, especially in those early days, like you have to engage with them because they will be with you for life, and they're the ones who are going to tell people about you. But they won't tell people about you if they just get a bullshit response.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. So, all right. So since we're talking a little bit about marketing and the New Year's coming up, let's talk about some trends from 2016 and 2017. I have a giant list of stuff. If there's anything that you want to talk about that speaks to you the most, or you just go down the list. But some trends in marketing that artists and creatives should pay attention to is I read about like wearable and mobile advertising being like a really big thing, or marketing. Or is that something that you dabble in at all? Or
I can't speak to wearables, but mobile is not technology for tomorrow. Right. It's like right now.
It's happening right now.
Like legit, I run 89% of my business on my phone. It's not a mobile's coming, we should get ready for it. You should design your website for mobile first. You should design your videos for mobile first. Like we're switching all of our videos to squares because that's how people watch them on the phone. You know, they're not watching, 16:9 videos anymore. They're watching, 16 by 16s. So, optimize for mobile first. That's where everyone is experiencing your content. So I think that mobile's not we should be thinking about how to optimize our site. Like, no, build your site for mobile first, desktop second. So I'm a firm believer in that because more and more, I don't even bust out my laptop.
Yeah. And people spend so much more time on their cell phones than on a laptop or
and especially from a musician standpoint or artist standpoint, like that's where people are consuming your content. They're listening on Spotify on their phone and they're clicking over to something on their phone. They're not like on Spotify and they're like, yo, let me get my laptop out or let me go to my desktop. And like, no, they're keeping the experience seamless through mobile. So I think you have to be thinking mobile first. If you're like, we're not going to do mobile, you've already lost.
Yeah. Absolutely. And the whole building for mobile first. I mean, it's so easy now, like through WordPress and Squarespace, you can literally switch the view when you're building your site to a mobile view. So
yeah. There's no excuse.
No, it's so easy to do. You can easily look up a video on how to build a website on especially Squarespace. Squarespace is super easy. I know WordPress can involve some coding and everything, but any artist can jump on Squarespace and you literally change the view if you want to look it up. Your tablet view, your mobile view, and desktop view.
Buy somebody some beer and pizza.
Yeah.
They'll just fix it for you.
Or that, yeah. Buy Greg or me some. We're trying to be healthy here. Another big trend is visual content. So visual content is like, and then content is something you've been involved with ever since I've known you, from writing blogs for other blog sites and websites and magazines. But the world is going more and more visual. I mean, Snapchat is the big thing now. Instagram is getting bigger and bigger, and they're basically almost the same platform competing with each other every single day.
Yeah.
What's something someone can do to create better visual content? And
I think the easiest thing is video, which is weird because video used to be really hard. Now I think video is the easy thing to do because you literally can just turn your phone on and shoot video. And so I don't think there's an excuse for it. Like taking a beautiful picture, you got to have a little bit of skill.
Right.
But for video, Gary Vee talks about document, don't create. And I'm kind of in the middle. I think it's like document and educate.
Right.
You know, it shouldn't just be like, I'm eating Doritos, so I'm posting something. But I think as you're doing things, like we're in the studio recording this new song, here's 10 seconds of the intro. What do you guys think? So I think that process of video first, everything's going, like even Instagram now is like with the Instagram stories, but even in the regular Instagram feed, it's almost 50-50. So almost as many videos are being uploaded to Instagram as images. So everything is going to video first. Facebook is putting billions of dollars in technology into Facebook Live and into pushing video first. Like video is what they want to push on, because if you're watching video, you're on the site longer. If you're on the site longer, they're serving up more ads. If they're serving up more ads, Facebook makes more money. So they like video content. And then I think the other thing too is mixing it up. So I know that you guys are hearing so much stuff from everyone all around the planet saying like short 30-second content. Don't make a video more than 2 minutes. Like there's truth to that, but that also creates a shitty customer. All right. So here's what I mean. If someone isn't willing to invest a minute to watch your content, they won't invest $50 in buying your bundle. Right. The fan who watches this 30-second video, which then clicks through to watch the 5-minute video, who then goes and watches the 60-minute video, also just clicked on and bought your $50 package. So I think you need short-form content to grab attention and to get people engaged, visually stimulated, like, whoa, this is cool, it's great art, it's great music, it's right up my alley. I need more. And then give that person more. I'm a fan of long-form content because it creates better customers.
Absolutely.
I think that we've been conditioned to only create this short-form content, but if your best, stuff is just a tweet and they're not going back to read a blog post. Like, I don't know about you. I've never read a tweet and been like, holy shit, I got to buy that.
Right.
It just doesn't happen. No. It's not enough context. You read the tweet and you go, oh, that's interesting. Click through. Now let me get more information. Now, the same is true in music. Like if especially if you're a musician, like I can't hear your music in a tweet, but I could probably hear it in a 30-second Facebook video, or I can hear a sample in a Snapchat. But now I need more. So you need short form to grab attention, interest, all of that. But then you need long form to get engagement in order to get sales. So when we talk about visual content, I think video is the easy medium that you should do. Doesn't mean you should skimp on production. Probably means you should buy a microphone. Probably means you should, be cleaning stuff up, doing a little bit of post-production. I think long term, because everyone can create video content on their phone, that we're going to start being immune to it. Like we're going to start skipping them over just like banner ads, and looking for the stuff that is high produced. So learn production or have someone on your team that can do production. I do think at some point we're going to have blinders to like, I'm in my car videos. I think like we're just going to have blinders to that. Production quality is going to jump. But for now, just start shooting. Shoot, because people want to know what you're up to. As weird as that sounds, they really do.
Absolutely. I mean, and speaking of the whole 80-20 rule, so I guess what's was kind of fun now with this, since we're just going random with, off script here, but it seems like, so far, if you are trying to decide as an artist or a creative, doesn't necessarily have to be musicians, I mean, any type of artist, it seems like so far engaging with your audience directly and creating good quality videos, so spending the time to learn how to do the videos, as well as your craft, of course, too, but so far, those seem like the things that are in your 80%, so of what's...
Without a doubt.
Bringing your revenue in and your customers in.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, and what's crazy is this is the strategy for, that we teach to business owners, to entrepreneurs, to people trying to sell products online. And the same exact thing applies to musicians. Same exact stuff. It is create great, compelling content, get them to opt in, join that email list, keep sending them more content. That's where the longer form content comes in, and then make an offer for them to buy something. I mean, that is the model we teach to everyone right now is create as much content, consistency. I think we talked about that in the last episode. Create constant content, consistent content. If you have a Monday show, have a show every Monday. If you have a show,
so how consistent should someone be? Like, what is too much? What is not enough? Like how consistent? So since video is so important,
So I'm a fan of, if you have something to say it. And if you don't have anything to say, don't say it.
Right.
So if you're just trying to create something because you told yourself that you were going to create 4 pieces of content a day and 3 of them suck because you're just like, I told myself I'd post a video at 1. So if you have something to say it. But if you don't have anything to say, it's better not to say anything at all, because you do turn people off and you do get unsubscribes and you do start to get people too immune to it. So I start there. The second place I start to is, what can you realistically commit to? I'd rather undercommit and overdeliver than overcommit and underdeliver. So most people will say, I'm going to start a daily video show, and it lasts 3 days. And then you're like, oh, I had to eat salad today, so I forgot to shoot my video. And then you're like, oh shit, I didn't shoot my video. So can you just do one show or one video a week? Start there. And great, if you did 2 this week, you win.
Yeah.
But then next week, at least do the 1. So what can you realistically commit to, under commit to it, but over deliver, and then start adding more into the mix? The second piece of it is I'm a big fan of batching work. So tomorrow, we're filming this on a Monday. Tomorrow is my batch day. So tomorrow from 9 to 10:30, I do nothing but shoot video. And I'll shoot probably 10 2-minute videos. And that will be my content pretty much for, the next 3-4 weeks, all done in one session.
And when you do your batch day, do you kind of pre-prep for that? You kind of have like scripts and storylines already?
Yeah, so I know most of you guys are going to watch this on a podcast or listen to it on iTunes, but for those of you watching this, I actually have everything in an Evernote file, and it's called Ambitious Life Video Ideas. And so if you're seeing this on video, I'm just like legit, like I like people that like actually show stuff. Like,
yeah,
it's not bullshit. Like I have this magical list. Like, no, this is my list. So like tomorrow, I'm going to shoot a video on 3 ways to get more email signups. Should I coach or sell a course? How to make your online course stand out? How to turn your coaching service into a digital course? How to turn your book into an online course, how to turn your keynote speech into an online course, the truth about books and ebooks, how to price your, like, these are all my video ideas. And so I scratch them off.
That's a big list too.
It is a big list. I obviously won't get through all of these tomorrow, but I keep adding to this list and then I delete them after I do them. But now I never have a shortage of stuff. So here's the second part. So how do I get stuff on that list, right? Because I think that's like, great, you have a list. How do you get stuff on the list?
Right.
So I go to, there's 5 websites that I've identified that have similar target markets to me. I teach mostly about online courses, creating online businesses. So one of them is like growthlab.com with Ramit Sethi. And every time he publishes a new post, it goes to my email and I'm like, oh, so A, do I think that that's a good topic? B, do I have something to say about that topic? And then C, are people searching for that topic? So that's kind of my criteria. So I'd be like, oh, that's interesting, but I have no opinion or I don't know anything about, like, you asked me about like wearables. So like I could be like, oh, that's cool. Honestly, I don't have anything to say about wearables. Yeah. So that just gets pushed to the side. But if it's about like 3 ways to get more email subscribers, and I look at their posts and I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool, but I would do it differently. Well, cool. Now it's an intriguing post. I have something to add to the conversation. And then the third step is then I do like the wicked fast market research, so I'll like go to YouTube and see if I'll search for that keyword and like, does the first couple videos have at least a couple thousand views? If the first video that comes up has like 340 views, I'm like, man, I don't need it. Like there's no volume there. So those are like my 3 criteria. So I find those sites and I do it that way. There's more advanced ways to do that, but I think for everybody listening, so like, look at your favorite bands. What are they posting? What are your favorite artists posting? What are your favorite music-driven sites posting? Because as an artist, you don't always just have to be like, here's the inspiration behind my lyrics. I mean, people want to know, like, what are your 5 favorite, pieces of gear that you would buy for the holidays? Like, why not write that? Why not make that a video? Like, if you're a guitarist and you have fans and you could talk about 5 pieces of guitar gear, like, I want to know what, like, like when I was a rapper in a rock band, like we were similar to Gym Class Heroes. Like if Travis from Gym Class Heroes is like, here's my 5 favorite things that I bring with me on tour that you can get on Amazon, I'd be like, oh shit, like, yes, I want to read that all day long. Like Absolutely. That's my artist telling me, like, so it doesn't always have to be like specifically themed to your music. What do your fans want to know? So look at what are other artists posting? What are people in other industries posting? And how can you be, the voice that does that? So that's how I would create that content list. And then again, I commit to, right now I'm doing two videos a week. So we release on Monday, we release on Wednesday. Originally, I wanted to do Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but I was like, I can't commit to that. I can commit to 8 videos a month because I can shoot 8 videos in one session. So that's kind of how we came to it. So long tangent, but there were some takeaways from there.
I like that you gave specific examples on the types of content an artist could post, because a lot of artists just think, oh, I can do my music videos, an acoustic version of a song, and a cover video, and then I think that's it. Yeah, and there's a lot more.
There's so much stuff. Like, so Cap Callis, mutual friend of ours, he's out in LA. Like he's always posting about like top 5 sushi spots in wherever he's going to tour, and like that's dope. Like my favorite hip hop artist is telling me his favorite sushi spots. Like that's awesome. Yeah. Like so
would you do that over video? Would you do it as a blog? How would you?
So it depends. So like. If I was Cap, I think he just does it kind of as a list on Instagram. So like, hey, what's up? I'm in Toronto, Canada right now, and just hit up Joey Sushi, and it reminded me of my 3 top favorite sushi places, A, B, and C. And that's where he leaves it. Now, if you had photos of those places, like, could you do a quick like video montage where you just do a screen capture, over your video? Like, this is a Pop Sushi place. They have the best tuna rolls, and this is like, and can you do a 2-minute video on that? Could you do it as Instagram, and could you do it as like an Instagram thing where you do like one picture with a story a day for 5 days? So now you have Monday through Friday of content just about this place. And so here's how I would do it is leading up. So say you're going to play a show in Orlando on Friday. So leading up to that show, as part of the promotion, is I'm going to share my 5 favorite restaurants in Orlando that every time we go play a show, we got to hit these 5 spots. And you do that the week leading up to the show. You're building anticipation. You're getting people excited. And then you're like, and we're going to do a pre-show at one of these places. So maybe you can meet us there. Like, but now you have content that is focused on a promotional deal. So again, a little bit of tangents, but just trying to give some specificity so
great.
people actually do it instead of like, well, that's great in theory, but how the fuck do I do it? Like, that's how you do it.
Yeah. And you're creating those experiences, which is another big trend in marketing, creating experience for your fans or your followers. That's kind of
so now you play the show on Friday night and you met everybody at Pop's Sushi Place. Well, now you do my 5 favorite fans I met at Pop's Sushi Place. And you do those Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday after the show. And then guess what? Chris was one of my favorite fans. So now Chris is like, holy shit, Greg's awesome band just tagged me on their thing. And now you share it to all your people. And like, so, I mean, content shouldn't, like, I think in our head, we build it up to be this, like, it has to be so perfect and it has to be awesome. And like your music video, should be perfect, should be awesome, because that's the flawless representation of who you are and the image you're trying to present.
Right.
You on a daily basis, it just needs to be cool stuff.
Yeah, it just needs to fit your brand and be attractive to your audience, like something that your audience is going to want to engage with.
Yeah.
A cool thing so you have this big list on Evernote, and I just read this book, Content Inc. from Joe Pulizzi. I don't know if it's a great book, and one good thing too is, I don't know, it seems like you prepare the types of content you're going to talk about and you prep for, but instead of just going out and running blind, like an easy exercise to do in the book, it asks you to ask 50 questions, and it can be just very simple questions. But is that something that you do, and should I elaborate a little bit more on what that means? 50 questions. So basically, it's 50 questions on what type of content you could create. So for me, if it's music, business, education, it would be, how do I book a show? How do I write a pitch letter? How do I whatever?
Yeah.
So 50 questions that would interact and engage with your audience.
I think that's good. I think for the musician, let's just be real.
Yeah.
Like, they ain't writing 50 things down. Like, let's be real, right?
Yeah.
For a brand, like for a marketer, like, yes, I think they'll do that. So my thing would be like, what are 10 things outside of music that you're insanely passionate about? Are you passionate about sushi? Are you passionate about vinyl? Are you passionate about vintage guitars? Are you passionate about cars? Are you passionate about, and then those start to become, so Dan Kennedy talks about, he's a famous marketer, someone I've worked a lot with. He calls them clicks on a dial. And so clock has 12 hours, right? So he says there's different clicks on a dial. And so he looks for things. They're like like a dog call. Like, he hears someone. So say one of your things is like vintage cars. Like, you love vintage convertible cars. And so that's one of your clicks on a dial. And so anytime you see a piece of content or a magazine or someone, like, the dog whistle goes off and you're like, oh, let me file that. So I think just simplifying it. So maybe there's 5 things.
Right.
Maybe there's 10 things that are just like, I write about sushi. Like, that's what I do. I actually did this a while ago. Like, I love Mexican food. I'm a big burrito guy, and I actually started like Greg's Burrito blog.tumblr.com a long time ago. It didn't really go anywhere, but like, what I wanted to do is every city that I went to, I wanted to find like an underground like burrito place. I didn't want to go to Chipotle. I wanted to like find like Tim's backyard burritos, and like I would seek that out, and I would take a picture of the burrito and talk about it, and like that's what I love that stuff.
So what's the spot in Orlando?
Right now, I'm a huge fan of Black Rooster. It's more tacos than burritos, but Black Rooster is that's the spot.
Okay. I'll have to check that out.
That's the spot for sure. It's right down on Mills. But so like, what are those couple topics? And then again, it's like a dog whistle. So every time that you go garage sailing looking for, vintage guitars, take a picture of it. And that should be easy content. It's like, what are those 5 to 10 things? So I don't disagree with your 50, but let's be real. Like that musician listening right now, he's like, fuck, Chris, that's 50 things. Like, I'm not doing that.
It's a lot less overwhelming
but
trying to find 5 or 10. Yeah. And the other cool thing too is the other important piece of building an artist and figuring out the kind of content and the brand you are is having a story. And everyone thinks, I don't really have a story. I'm just starting out. I don't have a dramatic thing that's happened to me. And no, these things are also a part of your story. I mean, if you're posting about your favorite burrito spot or your favorite vintage guitars or classic cars, I mean, you're building a story and you're able to engage with an audience that's into that.
Yeah, because someone else is going to go, no, don't go to Joe's Burritos, go to Johnny's Burritos.
Right.
And like now there's engagement. It's so stupid. It's over burritos, but now you just created a fan over something silly. Like I do, like when I give keynote speeches and stuff, I talk about this thing. It's called points of affinity. And points of affinity are the things that we have in common. So we live in a very divided world right now, and we're not getting into any of that stuff today. But what are the things that build us and drive us together, and they're points of affinity. So if I was in, I'm not, but if I was in the military and I was like, every one of my Navy SEALs brothers, put your hands in the air. Every single person who was a Navy SEAL would put their hands in the air, and like that's what bonds us and brings us together. I might get a sale from that person simply because we're both Navy SEALs, right? So I always say, like, what do dog lovers love? Dogs, right? So everyone in the audience is like, dogs, right? So if I start talking about my dog, if you love dogs, you're going to be like, oh, and then after I talk, you're going to be like, here's a picture of my dog. And like, it sounds so stupid, but like attracts like. And so if burritos is your thing, if vintage cars is your thing, if, you know, classic guitars is your thing, other people like that shit too. And then they're going to be more attracted to you. And that's what's going to build community, fan base. That's part of your story. That's part of what makes you. I mean, you know, just talk like Adele, like talks about breakups. Everyone goes through freaking breakups.
Yeah.
Everyone on the planet. We can
life.
all relate to it. Like that's part of her story. And like Taylor Swift, another breakup song. Like, but that's like one of the most biggest common universal things. It brings us together because I went through a breakup and it fucking sucks. And now your podcast just got explicit instead of through this whole episode. But now there's a bond between us. So what is the way that you can bond with your fans? Because guess what? If you like burritos and you play death metal and you just made fans with 20 other people who love burritos and death metals, those are going to be your best freaking fans on the planet because there's a bond that's deeper than burritos, deeper than music. It's like, this guy's just like me. I want to support their music.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm being very superficial with like burritos and things like that, but it's true.
Yeah, but it's an example too. Is not the other day, but like a couple months ago, we went to see Mike Stud, and everything about his brand and his story is related to sports. And he integrates it into his merch, into the day of the show. He posted an Instagram picture of with him and his girlfriend at the trophy room that's Michael Jordan's son's store. Yeah, so he integrates sports into everything. He's wearing
a basketball jersey. He's selling, everyone in the crowd is wearing Marcus Stroman jerseys. And like, you're right that it's fully integrated and it's sports. So he found a lane for himself, being that he was a former college baseball player and he resonates with the college baseball players, and everyone played the Little League when they were a kid and they want the jersey and they want that feeling of, you know, but you're 100% right that he's built this community and connection on baseball, which is like rappers don't give a shit about baseball, but guess what? A whole subset of them do. And it's made him very wealthy, selling out 300-person venues to 1,000-person venues. He's not MTV. He's not mainstream.
But he's making a full-time living doing what he loves. And
I'm sure he's making a very good living doing what he loves. And he gets to talk about baseball. Like, what's cooler than that? Yeah. You know, and now Baseball America, like the top baseball newspaper magazine thing, covers him. They're not covering Drake. Drake has nothing to do with baseball. But this Mike Stud guy's selling out concerts all over, and he's friends with Marcus Stroman, and all the baseball players love him. Guess what? He's the only rapper that magazine will cover. You know, so he's paved his own lane. Now he's playing in a field of one instead of a field of, well, everybody's trying to get publicity in, you know, Vibe magazine. Nobody's trying to get an article in Baseball America. Yeah. But guess what? Baseball America still goes to 1 million+ baseball fans. So
absolutely.
Playing a field of one is much better than competing in a sea of thousands.
This is great. So like we
talked about nothing like we were supposed to talk about.
Well, no, it's awesome though. It's like we're almost creating like the steps and tools to what an artist should be doing, or any creative entertainment career, where you know, engaging with your fans, figuring out who your ideal fan is, building some kind of connection with your fans through your brand and story, and building content and the importance of video. So I guess with that, once you're creating the content and know who your fan is and where to engage with them, let's talk a little about the social media platforms. So since we are talking about trends going into the new year, Snapchat is growing rapidly and I feel like it's getting better and better every time with the Snapchat stories and the way you can engage with people now on Snapchat. It's currently, I kind of come with a rank, and this is from a Droid phone, so I don't know what the iPhone rank is, but Gary Vaynerchuk always talks about looking at your rankings. So I wrote down the rankings for today, and Snapchat is currently the number 3 most popular app. In the Play Store. Do you use Snapchat? What's the best way to utilize Snapchat for an artist?
So here's what I'll say. They all work, and they all equally don't work. So pick the platform that you enjoy and like and don't mind using. Pinterest works.
Right.
but most dudes in death metal bands don't want to go use Pinterest, right? Now, are some of them losing traffic? Like, I don't think Twitter is the platform that it was a few years ago. But my thing is like I don't like Snapchat mostly because I just don't get it. I never really got into it. Does it mean it's not effective? No, it means it's not effective for me. You know, is Facebook effective? For some people it is. For some people it isn't. So I think you go all in on one or two platforms instead of spreading yourself thin on a dozen.
So that's a good question. I get a lot. Like a lot of times people ask me, should I be on every social media platform? And
I think the answer is no. Like, can you have a basis so that if someone finds you on Snapchat and you can direct them and be like, hey, we don't do much on Snapchat, but we love Facebook, or we love Musical.ly, or we love Instagram, or whatever it is. But I think you can dominate one or two social media platforms. Just very difficult to do them all. And again,
very time consuming.
What I tell people is like, all marketing works, just doesn't mean that it's going to work for you. So find the platform that you enjoy doing. Like, I don't enjoy Snapchat because like I don't like doodle. Like I personally don't get satisfaction from posting a snap and then seeing like 14 people check it out. Like, it just doesn't do it for me. But like my partner in the TV show, Brandon T. Adams, like he gets like 15,000 people watching every one of his snaps. And I'm like, dude, then use Snapchat. Like, yes, use it, you know? So I think it's just play to your strengths. I am not a fan of making our weaknesses better. I'm a fan of, if you have a competitive advantage, you have a strength, use it. If you're the best freaking photographer on the entire planet, then use the shit out of Instagram. You know, if you suck at taking pictures, don't. You know, so play to your strengths, as opposed to, you read an article and they said you had to be on a platform. If you hate, like, I hate tweeting. I hate it. I think it's terrible. Like, I think your only tweets are retweets. My only tweets right now are retweets. I hate using Twitter, so I don't use it. When someone like mentions me, I do the thing that we talked about earlier. I reply to people and I retweet, and that's all I do. But I don't think of like, what's my brilliant 140 character? Like, no, like, I don't enjoy the platform, so I don't use it.
Well, speaking of Twitter, like, I feel like Twitter is always going further and further down on the rankings. Is it a sinking ship? Do you think it's still a platform worth
build a fan base? I don't think it's a platform to build a fan base. Like, if you already have one there, you can still curate it. I do think it is a good platform to connect with people, meaning industry people are using it and media is using it because they're looking for breaking stories. They're looking for angles. So I think, is there a play for it? Yes. Is it where I would base my money, time, and effort, energy to build a fan base? No, I would stay away.
Yeah, I think I use Twitter mostly for networking and engaging. I mean, that's why I feel is the best use of it right now. Like, if you're posting a tweet, hey, I have a show coming up this Friday, probably going to get ignored, especially since an average tweet has a 6-7 lifespan.
Yeah, it's worthless for that.
Yeah, so it's definitely about engaging people and connecting with people. I guess on our whole 80-20 thing, spending time on video, spending time on engaging with fans, and finding one social platform would be still playing to the 80%. If you're on every platform, you'll probably start playing into
and I think you'll start to see, right? Because I think most musicians do that. They spray and pray. But look at your analytics. Like, if you are using every one of the platforms and you got like 7 people watching your snaps, but you have 7,000 on Facebook, like, so Snapchat might be sexy. I got it, right? But put your energy into Facebook.
Yeah.
You know, or it could be vice versa. Like, Facebook, maybe you're getting no engagement. In Snapchat, you are. Then put all your effort into Snapchat. It doesn't matter as long as you're building a platform.
What are your thoughts? So speaking of Facebook, I feel like we're kind of in, and Gary Vee talks about this all the time, like we're kind of in a golden age of advertising on social media right now, because it's so cheap to advertise on social media. Like, buying a TV ad is super expensive. And he always talks about the best TV ad on the plan to buy is a Super Bowl commercial. And every TV ad after that is the worst way to spend your money. Do you experiment a lot with boosting posts on Facebook and Facebook
all the time?
Ads? Yeah.
I think more so than it's a gold rush of cheap ads, because it's not as inexpensive as it was, because people are getting very savvy to it. If you know definitively who you want to target, there's never been a better platform to put an ad in front of the absolute perfect person who will love your stuff. That we live in an age of analytics, because Facebook knows every post you've ever posted, everything you've ever liked, everything you've ever shared, everything you've ever talked about, every keyword you've ever used. And so if you want to target soccer moms who live in a small town, who drive red cars and listen to Chevelle, and like, I just gave like the worst description of a music fan ever. But like,
soccer moms listen to Chevelle.
And so there's 300 of those people in the entire world. I can run an ad to 300 people. Now, guess what? It doesn't cost me $1 million to run an ad to 300 people. Right. It probably cost me $5, $10. Yeah. So my depth isn't my depth is so much farther than my width. but I can target my exact fan, especially when you're starting out. Because, right? I mean, you know the deal. I know the deal. Musicians are broke. Like, and it means no offense to everyone who's listening to this right now, but like, you don't have an infinite ad budget.
Yeah.
You know, you have like, I got $50. What do I do with it? Well, you don't try and put an ad in front of a million people.
No.
If you got $50, who are Kevin Kelly, 1,000 true fans? In a perfect world, who are my 1,000 true fans, and how can I put an ad in front of just those people? That's why Facebook is powerful. Now, if you have the budget, yes, can you put your ad in front of millions of people? Of course. But I think for those getting started, the demographic, like, you need to like get a whiteboard, and you need to be like, all right, hey, get everybody in your band, all your music producers, get everybody in a room together and be like, A, who do we want as a fan? But B, I think this is the more important person. Hey, remember that show we did last week? Like, remember that dude who bought every single one of our albums and every one of our t-shirts and like stayed till 4 a.m. eating pizza with us? What is every characteristic about him? Well, he's 27. He wore glasses. He had khaki shorts on.
Right.
Like, how can you develop that fan? Because that's your super fan. Now, he may not be your ideal fan because you want the hot chick with the big boobs and the nice ass, and like, you want her, but she's not buying your shit right now.
Yeah.
Dude in cargo shorts is buying your shit right now. Let's put an ad in front of dude in cargo shorts.
Yeah.
So your ideal fan might not be your real fan, but guess what? Your real fan will pay your bills. And if enough real fans pay your bills, you'll get the nice chick and so do it vice versa. If you're a chick watching this, maybe you want the dude with the Magic Mike abs. But like, your ideal fan and your fan that's actually paying you are probably two different people. So who's the fan that's paying you, and how can you put an ad in front of that person? So get in front of the whiteboard and think about like, what's the last show we did? Who was there? Who paid? Who bought stuff? Like, give me an accurate description of who that person is. Now look on social media. Look at your Facebook. Whose comment? You put up 10 videos this week. One jackass commented on all 10 of them. Well, click on his Facebook profile. What are his favorite movies? What are his favorite videos? What are like, Facebook gives you all that stuff, and it's free.
Yeah.
It's hidden in plain sight. That's where you start with Facebook.
Absolutely. Are there any, so there's a couple valuable things you said. I don't know if people have experimented with Facebook ads yet and boosting posts, but you said narrowing down your audience. So do you have any like key things that they should keep in mind when they create their first ad? So like, with narrowing down your audience, when you build your audience, right, your interests, so let's say you pick males 18 to 40, when you should really be narrowing it down to probably a 5-year range, 18 to 23, or whatever your ideal or your target fan looks like. But when you start building that audience, Facebook tells you like how many people you're currently targeting with that ad. So it could be 1,000 or it could be millions. How narrow should be that ad be when you're first starting out?
So without trying to confuse people today, what is your goal of the ad? Is the goal just getting more video views and then people to like your page? Is your goal doing what we talked about earlier, which is way smarter, of you're going to run an ad so someone clicks on it and they go to a landing page and you get an email address? What is the goal of that? If the goal is just getting your video to be seen by 10,000 people, like, you can get views for a penny a piece. So that's what, I don't know, a couple $100, and you can get 10,000 people to watch your video. So what is the goal of the ad? Is the goal ticket sales? Well, if your show's in Orlando, don't run an ad to somebody who lives in Oklahoma, right? I mean, that just makes sense. If you are trying to build your fan base, so something I like, so you teach a class over at Full Sail, which is awesome, and you did, I sat in and judged one of their final presentation type deal, and I love when you made them like do a tour in like an area. So are you trying to build a fan base? So we live in Orlando. So are you trying to build a fan base in Jacksonville and Tampa and Gainesville? Well, I would have specific campaigns for each of them. Like, hey, Gainesville, we're thinking about coming and doing a show in your area. Click this button to let us know where we should play. And you send them to a survey, and they say that you should play at XYZ venue. And then, so they do that. And then the second step says, awesome, we'd love to come play at XYZ venue. Enter your email address, and we'll tell you the next time that we come. Well, now you have a targeted campaign. But maybe you only run that ad to a couple hundred people, a couple thousand people. You don't need to run that to everyone who lives in Gainesville. Again, it's not about getting to everyone. It's about getting to those 1,000 true fans. And so, again, being realistic, like, you go to Gainesville, first time ever there, you ain't putting 1,000 butts in the seat. Right. Can you get 30 people to show up? Well, then you probably need to get an ad, and you probably need to get 300 email addresses. If you get 300 email addresses, can you get 10% to show up? I don't know if that's realistic, but but start looking at reverse freaking engineer. It's not rocket science. What do you want done? Like, if you want 300 people to show up at your show, how many people do you need to get in front of to put 300 people at a show? If you need 3 people to show up at a show, how many people do you need to get in front of? Like, we can confuse this all day long, and I'm trying to simplify it because I don't want people to overthink it. I'd rather they just run the damn ad, get some people on their email list, and get someone to show up to their show.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, totally agree. All right, we're running out of time. But
fast, yeah. We got like
real,
5 minutes.
real quick. So one of the things I talked about in the beginning is the whole concept of setting goals and how important it is to set goals. What is your views on New Year's resolutions? I know a lot of people are going to make a bunch of New Year's resolutions that they're not going to follow through on. I'm bigger on you should be always setting goals, and always be setting 90-day goals or 6 months goals and doing little experiments that we talked about last time. What's your view on New Year's resolutions? And
so the
goal
cliche
setting?
thing that I really fundamentally believe in is don't wait. So if you're waiting for the new year to do something, like that's just stupid, right? But if the new year allows you to reset, recharge, and refocus, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with being like, all right, because it's the new year, now I'm like, if that's what motivates you to make that change, then freaking great. The problem is most people set stupid goals. And I don't mean that like what you like, if you want to lose weight, that's admirable. That's not stupid. Your goal is, I want to lose weight. That's stupid, right? Your goal should be that I want to lose 20 pounds by April 1st. So it's adding specificity to the goal. And then again, reverse engineer is like the theme of this, right? How do you lose 30 pounds, right? So if you want to book 10 shows in 2017, great. That's a good goal. I like that. 10 shows in 2017, that's basically one a month. Well, what do you need to do in order to do that? Do you know that you book 1 out of every 5 shows you ask? So this month you need to reach out to 5 venues and you should get 1. And if you get 2, then holy shit, we're doing good. We're beating the goal. So a real goal with a number, with a time. I'm not really a SMART goal person, but I do think that you need a specific number of something you want to do and by a certain date, and then just reverse engineer it. I think people are really good at saying, I want to book 10 new gigs in 2017, but they have no freaking clue how they're going to do it. Have a plan for how you're going to do it. That's the difference between people who achieve their goals and are successful and the people who in 2017 ends and 2018 is about to roll up and be like, fuck, we didn't do it again. Like, it's because you don't have a freaking plan. Reverse engineer your plan, make it realistic. Now you have something to work towards. And again, just like the ads we just talked about, just like if you need to talk to 5 venues to get 1 show, well, then you need to call, if 5 venues, we break it down, that's 1 venue a week you need to call. You got a whole week to reach out to 1 damn venue. That's all you got to do.
That's all you got to do.
And if you're not willing to do that, and then, well, you're probably not going to make it anyway. So
you're not taking your career.
You ain't making it with Chris G.
You ain't making it. What is a book or video or something someone should watch? What's your recommendation for 2017?
They should go to youtube.com and look for The Ambitious Life. And there's this dude named Greg Rollett who has really, really good videos. And I really do, and I believe that. Because
they are good. I've reshared a lot of your videos.
Yeah, you have. And they will motivate you. They will inspire you. But they're quick and they're actionable. So if you like the stuff that we talked about today, where I'm just like, do this damn thing. That's really what they are every week. But, all joking aside, I mean, I'm a big Tony Robbins guy right now. I'm a big Tim Ferriss guy. I'm a big Gary Vee guy right now. All those dudes will set you straight. But here's the biggest thing. Consume, but don't consume to the point where it paralyzes you to create. You need to be a creator first. But I do believe that you need to consume in order to create. So we talked about it earlier. So I read these blogs and stuff to get ideas for content, but I don't just read the blog. I read the blog and then I go, all right, I'm going to shoot this video, and then I go shoot the video. So my theme for 2017 is to stop consuming and start creating. It doesn't mean you stop consuming everything. Like keep listening to Making It with Chris G. Keep watching The Ambitious Life. I got it. Like, and we all need that fuel. But if all you're doing is listening to podcasts, and you didn't do shit, then what was the point of the consumption? Knowledge without application is idiocracy. I'll use that. Some famous person said that, and that's an awesome quote. But so for real though, consume, but you have to create. Your motto, my motto, and your motto too, Chris, in 2017 should be to create. He who creates the most consistent content is going to win in 2017.
Yeah, I think that's awesome, and I think that's probably a really good note to end on. Create.
So stop listening to this and go create something.
It's been your mantra from day one. From when we first met. You've been creating blog posts and videos and content. Create content. I feel like that's something that's not even like a big trend of 2016. I think it's been a trend for a long time. People are just now making the trend cool and sexy.
Well, they are, and they're like we talked about today. They're paralyzed by, I know I'm supposed to create, but I don't know what to create. And hopefully, in this episode, you and I gave them some stuff where they actually go do it. And I would love it if you hit up Chris and myself on Twitter and you said, "Hey, listen to that episode, and here's what I created. I created my 5 favorite sushi spots blog or video, and I'll tweet it and share it. Chris will tweet it and share it." I think nothing would make me happier for your new year if you listen to this thing and you said, damn it, I'm done listening.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to go create something, tag the both of us, and we'll share it with our networks too, because I believe that much in you, but I also believe in that much in what we've talked about today.
Yeah, and that's the best appreciation anybody could show to us for listening to this podcast. If it's brought you any value, please
do something with it.
Yeah, do something with it and show us what you created. We want to see it. We want to share it. We'll share it with our people and build a whole little community of supporting each other.
Damn right.
Any last asks or call to actions to anyone listening besides creating and coming to Ambitious Life?
Yeah, check out the Ambitious Life on YouTube. Check out ambitious.com. We always have live classes. If you like me kicking your ass on a weekly basis, we do have a really cool coaching program called the Ambitious Academy. You can check that out on ambitious.com. But really, yeah, man, this has been super fun. I always love chopping it up with you, and we could do this for we should do this for a full day, and we should charge people a lot of money. And we should do something fun.
We should do something fun one day.
But
soon.
We could do this
Speaking
all day.
of Ready, Fire, Aim, we should fire stat.
Yeah, let's do it. I like it.
This is our goal for 2017. We're going to fire and bring on something really cool for you guys to check out. So thanks, everyone, for listening. And Greg, Rollett, and me are out of here.
Peace.
Hey, everybody. I hope y'all enjoyed this round 2 with Greg Rollett. Another fun, exciting interview. He's going to have to be one of those guests that just becomes a regular, that just maybe once a quarter, every 6 months, we're checking in with Greg, see how things were going. Hopefully we do have a workshop sometime soon. For those of you are listening that are from Full Sail University or students there, work there, whatever it is, Greg will be coming to do a Full Sail on-air session on Wednesday, February 1st. Wednesday, February 1st at 10 a.m. I believe it's 10:30 actually, and it's in the Full Sail Auditorium. So just make sure to check the calendar over there. Come see Greg. Come see his keynote presentation on how to make yourself a media company. This is going to be a really great keynote. I'm super excited. It's one of the first Full Sail on-air sessions that I got to work on. So really excited to be having Greg as the first guest there as well. So the man to help me out with the firsts. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Please subscribe on iTunes. You can find us Making It at Chris G on iTunes, Stitcher, Podcast Addict, anywhere podcasts live. Help us get up on those rankings. And we now have a website, makingitwithchrisg.com. The links to all my socials are there. Reach out. Let's get in touch. Let me know what you like to hear more of, what types of guests you like to hear from, any questions you have. Don't be a stranger. Really want to talk to you guys. I try to reply to everyone on Instagram and Twitter or wherever you're messaging me, email. Reach out. Let's be in touch. It's 2017. It's a new year. It's time to get pumped, time to get excited. Let's make some things happen, all right? So really appreciate all of your support. I hope to see you again next week and every Thursday on Making It with Chris G. And remember, try new things, be good to people, give back, create good content, and in the words of the great Bob Marley, live the life you love. Peace, everybody.